All right, we're going to go to visitor statements now. The Board of Education welcomes and encourages the participation of its citizens in the business of the school district. Thank you for your attendance. There are 2 points in the meeting where visitor statements are scheduled. Citizens are welcome to ask questions or make comments at either one. Comments will be limited to 3 minutes. If a person would like additional time to address the board, such a request should be submitted in writing 48 hours before the meeting to the superintendent. For more details, please refer to Board Policy 2:230, public participation at the Board of Education meetings and petition to the board. All right, now we're going to ask for visitors' comments. Anybody on this side? Anybody on this side? Please step up, state your name and your address.
My name is Martha Carlson. I live at 8513 Rockefeller in Brookfield. I just wanted to say a couple of things. The first thing was to do with the bullying that you guys were talking about when I came in. You mentioned that you had been talking about it for 5 years ago with the same people. I guess that was Mr. Passerella. There is a lot of action now with talking about girls in particular or sexual pressure type of bullying, and I really wish RB would address that in some way. But that's just, if you could keep that in mind, it would be great. As far as the parking lot and life safety, Mr. Cindy, you asked Ms. Ruska, who made an interesting suggestion about shuttles, because we've been told numerous times, including by Dr. Skinkis, that this parking is not for students, that it's special event and visitor parking driven. And she suggested maybe a shuttle. And you asked, where will the money come from? You have $8.9 million that you got in this grant. We know the financial situation of the high school. You're proposing $12.5 million worth of life safety work, according to Dr. Skinkis. You are also adding millions of dollars in unnecessary extras. And I'd like to know where the money is coming from, and I think our community would like to know where that money is coming from. And that's really all I have to say, but I hope there will be some openness about this. Thank you.
Thank
I'm
you.
looking forward to the meeting on June 24th.
Anybody else want to speak on this side? All right, seeing none, I'm closing visitors' comments. Is there any additional discussion items we want to add to the board agenda?
I sent one in a note, Kevin.
Yeah,
See
and
it?
I would like to table that till July, so when Kristen's here, because I'm not aware of the,
So let's say what it is so people can think about it. July is a little late.
So what is it? Tell us.
Okay.
Okay, so,
It's about why we don't have a summer reading program and how it was dropped. I looked on the website. I asked my son, did he have to get a book to do summer reading? And he's my 12th student year in a row. We've been here, and every other year the kids had to do summer reading, which I was under the impression was to help them stay a little engaged in the summer, and we've cut the program out. So I have two questions. Why did we cut it out? Did it go in front of the curriculum committee? And,
are you
That
saying,
seems like a big
saying,
change.
I don't know if it's, again, I don't know, that's something I'd have to ask the principal, and then, I don't know, are you saying program, or are you saying a class is having like a summer reading list?
No, up until last year, and I checked with my son. Last year, I'm sorry?
There wasn't one.
My son, maybe it was certain class.
I think it's just-
required for,
Oh,
Nick
it
had it for AP.
It was only certain classes last year, too?
Yeah.
Correct, I usually did get certain classes where they have like
No,
a reading list.
For many years, everybody had to read a book in the summer.
Okay,
I didn't realize, because my son must have been taking one of the classes reading, he had to read anyway, so we cut it out 2 years ago.
yeah, I'd have to talk with.
I'd like to hear why we
Okay.
cut that out. I thought there was a good reason for it.
okay,
I would like to add something.
okay.
I'd like to discuss our calendar. A grade school parent, was talking with a grade school parent from District 96, and they were mentioning a disparity in our calendars that could be almost about 4 weeks because of the way we are, because we start so much earlier than the younger kids, and we end so much earlier.
Well, this year was an aberration because of the construction.
Right,
right.
On District 96.
Well, I would like to know that, because there were 4 weeks, and so if you're trying to plan a family trip, 4 weeks is significant.
But we meet, as I reported out to the board on a couple occasions, we had 3 or 4 meetings with all the superintendents we all lay each other's calendars down to try to at least come up with the same spring break. We're always starting a few days before them because we get out we take the finals before winter break. But this year, the disparity was because of the construction. I mean, otherwise, we're all within, we even try to match up as good as we can, institute dates, so that there's not, I mean, there's always going to be one or two because some schools serve as an election post. So that's when they use an institute date because they don't want students in the building. But I know we all have the same spring break again this year, and that's always been a part of my process since I've been your superintendent, as we meet as a group.
I mean, that is my understanding, so if we can look at it. I mean, when you're standing there as a board member and somebody says there's a 4-week difference,
Well, what
I
are
couldn't
we,
answer
are we
that.
looking at next year or this
well,
current year?
that's what had happened this year, and you said it was an aberration.
It
so-
wasn't
They
4 weeks.
changed, they got out a little
They're
earlier,
getting out
started
tomorrow.
later.
Well, we were
Tomorrow's
done
our
on the
last school day.
23rd.
We got out, how many days ago? It wasn't 4 weeks
2
ago.
weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, so 2
It
weeks in
wasn't
the
2 weeks
beginning.
ago, it was a week and a half ago.
27th, Monday the 20th,
Well, the
Tuesday the
seniors
27th.
were done on the
It
23rd.
It was an aberration because.
But
the
it was part of the
construction
aberration was
2
the
weeks
fact that they had to delay their start because of their construction.
later. Right.
Right.
Yeah, so, well, it was 2 weeks in the beginning, 2 weeks in the end, that's 4 weeks. 2 plus 2 is 4.
Yeah, but if they didn't have that, they would have shifted 2 weeks.
It's not 2 weeks.
I would say,
It is 2 weeks, we graduated 2 weeks.
I would encourage the community member to look at the 96 calendar for next year and look at our calendar. I don't think there's any big gaps.
I would like that when we
So
vote on
our
our
school
calendar,
didn't
if
come
we
back
have
2
some.
days after Labor Day?
One day.
Memorial Day?
One day.
One day,
One
Yeah.
day.
the 27th.
And did not District 96 have emergency days that they had to add on? Having a student there that I know was graduating tomorrow?
Yeah, well,
So then, you know.
I would like to know that, right? To be able
right.
to explain that.
What more can we do besides send our superintendent into a meeting with their superintendents for 96, 95, and 94 and try to work out the best schedule that they can?
That's fine, and I'm gonna ask, and next year I'd like to see the dates.
And Mike, am I right?
Is that a
Even when we were doing constructions, here, we delayed a little bit.
You want to see what days? Our schedule?
Well, I think, my understanding is that we try to work out our spring breaks. So if this is so difficult, next year I'll just ask, can you please provide me with a calendar for the other school districts? And then we won't have this conversation.
We don't depend, we try to work together, we're not dependent on them.
That's right, but next year I'll ask. And
Then I would say, look at their website for what they're gonna have as.
And then Laura, where are you gonna take this? You're gonna recommend changing our calendar to accommodate an elementary calendar? Is that where you're gonna take this to?
You know, I think she asked,
I-
a community member came to her and asked a question. Everybody's attacking her. Laura,
I'm
but-
not attacking her.
But John's not.
I'm not attacking her. I'm
That's
just
not-
trying to
anybody's
understand
But here,
what
Laura,
this is gonna solve.
Laura, the point
This year was
is,
just an aberration.
just make, it was, they
Right, I'm
They
just
got
asking
out
for a
early
right.
and started after Labor Day,
Right.
so they could have a longer construction period
Right.
last summer.
And I didn't ask for any change in vote. Alls I asked is for information, and that when we vote on the calendar, that we would have that information in front of us so that we could answer parents knowledgeably. That's
So-
all I'm asking for. That's all anybody's asking for.
So this isn't a future agenda item? That's all I need to know. What am I report?
I
The
have a-
next time we talk about the calendar, I think it will be helpful,
Okay.
just to say, and they're getting out on this day, we're getting out on that day. That would be helpful for me, then we can answer somebody intelligently.
Okay, let's move to consent agenda.
Can I add one
Sure.
agenda item for next time, and that's the use of our athletic facilities by the community.
All right. That'll be for
That's
July.
it. Yeah,
Okay, you got
it's
that?
already on here?
No, I'm kidding, I'll tell you later.